Have you ever stood firm in your beliefs, even when it could cost your life? This is the story of Daniel, a man of faith surrounded by enemies and lions. In ancient Babylon, under the rule of King Darius, the empire was vast, powerful, and diverse. To manage such a kingdom, the king appointed 120 governors, and over them 3 administrators, one of whom was Daniel. But Daniel was different. He wasn't Babylonian. He was a Hebrew exile. But his wisdom, integrity, and excellence made him stand out. The king noticed it and planned to set him over the entire kingdom. Daniel was about to become the most powerful man in the land, after the king himself, but power breeds jealousy. The other officials couldn't stand the thought of a foreigner, a worshiper of another god, ruling over them. So they searched for any fault, any corruption, any mistake. But they found nothing. Daniel was faithful to his duties and to his God. Frustrated, they crafted a sinister plan. "If we want to bring Daniel down," they whispered, "it must be through his faith." They approached King Darius with flattery. "O king, live forever. We've all agreed. Let there be a law that no one may pray to any god or man except to you for 30 days. The king, unaware of the trap, agreed. He signed it into law, sealed by the Medes and Persians, a law that could not be reversed. And Daniel, he knew the law, he knew the risk. But some convictions run deeper than fear. Daniel returned to his home. He climbed to his upper room, opened the windows toward Jerusalem, and he prayed, morning, noon, evening, just like he always had. He didn't hide. He didn't protest. He simply prayed. And his enemies, Watorm, were watching. They burst in, caught him in the act, and brought him before the king. King Darius was shocked, not just because Daniel had broken the law, but because he had been deceived. The king spent the entire day searching for a way to save him. But there was no escape. At sunset, the sentence was carried out. With sorrow in his eyes, the king looked at Daniel and said, "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you." Daniel was lowered into the pit. A stone was rolled across the mouth and sealed with the king's ring. That night the palace was silent. No music, no sleep, only prayer and regret. As the sun rose, King Darius ran to the den. Breathless, he cried out, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God rescued you?" And then a voice answered, "O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the mouths of the lions. They have not harmed me, because I was found innocent in his sight and in yours." The king was overjoyed. He ordered Daniel lifted from the den, and not a single wound was found on him. The king then turned to those who had plotted evil. They and their families were thrown into the lion's den. And before they even reached the floor, the lions overpowered them. Then King Darius made a decree. "In every part of my kingdom, people must fear and reverence the God of Daniel. For he is the living God, and he endures forever. His kingdom will never be destroyed. His dominion has no end. He rescues and he saves." And Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and into the reign of Cyrus the Persian. Daniel's story is more than a miracle. It's a lesson in courage, in faith, and in loyalty. Faith doesn't always mean life will be easy. Sometimes it means standing alone. Sometimes it means facing lions. But it also means you're never truly alone, even in the den.